The Life of Jack Prelutsky by Lisa Benjamin, illustrated by Mary Teichman. Do you like poems? Do you like to laugh? Jack Prelutsky is a poet. He writes poems that make people laugh. He writes about taco-flavored ice cream. He writes about having your nose between your toes or in your hair. He has written more than 40 books of poetry. One book is called It's Raining Pigs and Noodles. Another is called Something Big Has Been Here. This book is about Jack Prelutsky's life. This kind of book is called a biography. Jack was born in 1940. He lived in New York City. Jack liked a lot of things when he was growing up. He liked music and drawing. But he did not like poetry because he thought poetry was boring. It did not make him laugh. Jack loved singing, and he sang as often as he could. He went to the High School of Music and Art. There, teachers taught him music and art. Jack always hoped to become a singer. He never dreamed he would become a poet. When Jack grew up, he had many jobs. He was a taxi driver and also a furniture mover. He worked as an illustrator, too. An illustrator is someone who draws pictures. Jack enjoyed working, but none of his jobs was quite what he wanted. He was looking for a job that would be exactly right for him. Jack started to enjoy poetry. He learned that poems did not have to be serious. Jack also learned that poetry could express his ideas. He could write about wishes or dreams. In fact, he could write about anything at all. In a poem, he could imagine that animals talk or pretend that trees can sing. He could even make people laugh. Jack began to write poems. His friends read his poetry, and they laughed a lot. One friend had a great idea. He wondered if Jack could sell his poetry, and he told Jack to show his poems to other people. Jack took his poetry to a company where books are made. The company liked Jack's poems, and they offered to make them into a book. Jack accepted their offer. Jack's first book came out in 1967. It was called A Gopher in the Garden and Other Animal Poems. The poems were very silly. Many children read them, and they laughed a lot, too. Jack was now a poet. Over the years, Jack wrote many books full of funny poems. One poem is about a giant pizza, and another is about singing dragons. One poem is about hot dogs that can fly. It is called We're Fearless Flying Hot Dogs. The hot dogs sail through the sky on fluttering wings. Some of Jack's poems are about big, grand ideas. Other poems are about small, simple things, like ice cream or noses. Jack finds ideas for poems everywhere. He likes to eat spaghetti, so he wrote a poem about eating spaghetti. Not all of Jack's poems are silly. Some are scary. One of his books is called Nightmares, Poems to Trouble Your Sleep. It is about mean monsters and dangerous dinosaurs. Some people like Jack's silly poems, and some people like his scary poems. Some people like both kinds of poems. Jack's poetry may be silly or it may be scary, but it is never boring. Children like reading his books. Grown-ups like them too. Sometimes parents and children read his books together. Jack has won many awards for his poetry. In 2006, he won an important prize. This prize honored him for being a great children's poet. Jack Prelutsky lives in Seattle, Washington with his wife Carolyn. He hopes children will always enjoy his poems, and he hopes that they might want to become poets too. Jack hopes they will see how much fun poetry can be. Responding. Target skill. Understanding characters. Copy the chart. In the first column, write things Jack Prelutsky liked as a boy. In the second column, write jobs he has had. In the third column, write what his poems are about. Write about it. Text to world. Sometimes Jack Prelutsky writes about dinosaurs. Write a few descriptive sentences about dinosaurs. Include details that you know about them. Target vocabulary. Accepted. Express. Fluttering. Grand. Pretend. Prize. Taught. Wonder. Target skill. Understanding characters. Tell more about characters. Target strategy. Analyze. Evaluate. Tell how you feel about the text and why. Genre. A biography tells about events in a person's life.